A few days ago, I was watching a video by YouTuber Barely Sociable, delving into a long circulated Reddit mystery surrounding a very strange, out-of-place themed room at a hotel in Houston called Hotel Zaza. I've left a link in the video description, and I highly encourage you to watch it to get to the background on this little adventure that I decided to go on. Barely Sociable is a relatively new channel, only about 4 or 5 months old, and he's already hit about 100,000 subscribers because of the quality content he's been putting out there, delving into lots of strange mysteries on Reddit and elsewhere on the internet. His success is well deserved, and I highly encourage you to check him out and subscribe to his channel because he's off to a great start. In February of 2013, Reddit user Joe Likes Music made a post to the Houston subreddit titled Zaza Insider's Question: What's up with room 322? In the post, he provided photos of a particularly strange and unsettling room. Zaza is considered a very high-end 4-star hotel, and it's known for its luxurious themed rooms. They have several properties in Texas and have several themed rooms like Houston We Have a Problem, with a strong focus on Apollo missions, Out of Africa, Bohemia, Erotica, and many other concept suites designed to cater to someone's particular taste and style. According to user Joe Likes Music, I stay here frequently when I'm on business. Hotel was booked solid, and my colleague managed to score a room unplanned. We all had normal Zaza rooms, swank, and he ended up in this goth dungeon closet. Seriously, the room had a chain holding the bed to the wall, pictures of skulls, and a creepy, incongruous portrait of an old man. Room was about a third the normal size, with the furniture blocking part of the TV, bed, and window. We asked about it at the front desk, and the clerk looked up and said, "Oh, that room isn't supposed to be rented," and immediately moved him. Anyone know what's up with this room? He then posted photos of the room, which are here for you to see. Skulls, surreal paintings, dreary atmosphere. This is nothing what you would expect to find in a luxury 4-star hotel in one of the most affluent areas of Houston. It should be noted that the picture of the old man is a Houston businessman named Jay Como, who was indicted by the SEC in 2009 for allegedly running a Ponzi scheme. I found an article claiming that in 2012, a year before this, Como settled the charges with the SEC while neither admitting or denying guilt. It's a strange photo to have in a luxury hotel suite, and when asked about it, Zaza's head of marketing didn't really have an answer as to why the photo was in the room specifically. Where all of the luxury suites in this hotel have soft carpets, appealing decor, bright, welcoming lighting, this room is dark, foreboding, and hard, with no carpeting, just a bare concrete slab for the floor. Pictures of skulls, unsettling and surreal paintings, chains connecting the bed to the wall, and a large suspicious mirror directly over the bed. It's also interesting that as soon as the front desk realized that the room he was staying in was 322, he was quickly transferred to another room. What others have only minimally covered, and I found particularly unsettling, was the final edit to this post. And to the very new Redditor offering me a bounty to delete this thread, I'll totally do it because, hey, cash is cash, but I don't want to die either. So let's do this publicly. I'm posting your message you sent me, and we can meet at the Monarch Bar next week. I'll be in town on Monday, and we'll update this thread when I get to Monarch so we can meet. Here's a screen cap of the offer. The link Joe Likes Music provided as a screenshot to the offer he received to delete the post. It just simply links back to the original album of photos he had and has no screenshot of that offer. The Reddit post quickly gained traction, gaining over 2,600 upvotes, and as of this writing is in the top 50 of the most upvoted posts of all time in the Houston subreddit. The story got picked up by the Houston Chronicle, and even Vice News did a piece on it, interviewing Kyra Coots, the head of marketing. When asked about some of the paintings, she couldn't give a straight answer, and the article mentions that she was nervous talking to them about room 322. But she mentioned firmly that the room was available to rent by anyone, despite the fact that the friend of user Joe Likes Music who took the photos had been transferred to another room as soon as the front desk staff found out that he had been put there. The only other documented case of someone staying in that room that I'm aware of is when author Hillary Davidson was accidentally put in this room. In a blog post, it briefly touches on her experience where she says, "When I checked into Houston's Hotel Zaza at midnight on Thursday night, there was some confusion. My first room was a themed room known as the Hard Times room. This skull was on the wall. A few minutes after I got there, the front desk called up and said they had to move me. The people at the front desk were deeply upset at the thought of me being stuck in this room. I told them I was a crime writer, but they insisted on moving me into a swanky room." In both instances, the guests were put in this room by accident and moved out immediately as soon as it was discovered that they had been placed there to stay. There's no documented case that I can find of someone staying there the entire night. As an experiment, the YouTuber I mentioned, Barely Sociable, decided to call the hotel and ask about the themed rooms. Here's the phone call he had with their staff.
You
Yes,
said
sir.
you have a full list of, are they the concept suites? Is that what they are?
So our suites range from the top level are the Magnificent Seven suites. There's only 7 on the 12th floor. And then we have the Concept Suites, which is on the 11th floor. And those are also themed suites as well. And then under that falls the Junior Suites. The Junior Suites aren't themed. They're just bigger suites with
Basic
a
rooms.
little more spacing rather than just a standard level room.
Okay, so just to go through this, just you guys have the Bella Vita, the Black Label, Fatal Charms, and you've obviously listed the ones you have available. For Your Eyes Only, it happened one night, Rockstar Suite, Tycoon, and then for the concepts. So there's no, okay, so there's no other suites, like no other themed suites. These are all of them. Just these two main ones?
Yes, sir. Those are all of them at this property.
Okay, and do you guys have another property in Houston?
We do. We have the Memorial City location.
Is that like a separate website?
Same website. If you just go on the top where it says hotels, you select it, and it'll give you the option to select Memorial City or Museum District.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna look through the photos here, and just to confirm, these are all the suites for both properties, correct, in Houston?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
I gotta say, what I love the most about this video that Barely Sociable put out was that he actually attempts to do some groundwork by actually calling the hotel to get some additional information. The whole point of this phone call was to reinforce the fact that room 322 is not advertised or listed in the list of themed rooms. This room was not meant to be public knowledge, and they only rent this room out to people who already know of its existence, which begs the question, who would be in the know in the first place, and why would they ever want to stay in this room? One thing I wished Barely Sociable would have done was at the end of the conversation specifically ask about the room, put the cards on the table, and actually just flat out ask about it. So after seeing this video, I decided I would do just that. I would ask if I could stay the night in the infamous room 322. So staying in a hotel can be expensive, and before I spent all this money in a hotel room, I wanted to make a post to the Unresolved Mysteries subreddit to ask if this is something that people would really even be interested in following along with. I was hoping there'd be some response, but the post shot up to over 2,100 upvotes, with users expressing a lot of enthusiasm for this. From my post: well, you know what? I live in Houston. I've got nothing to do this weekend, so I called the hotel management and I asked if I could book this specific room for this Friday, specifically room 322, known as Hard Times. Sure enough, they were more than happy to book me the room, albeit they seemed genuinely shocked anyone would call wanting to stay in that specific room. I asked about the room, and here's what I've discovered so far. The room is very much available to rent, but it's probably their least popular room and is considered a last to book room, meaning that it's one that they only typically fill when the rest of the hotel is booked solid. I found this particularly interesting considering all the buzz on the internet about this room. The decor has changed slightly over the years to tone down the creepiness. Specifically, they've replaced a lot of the pictures on the wall. The guy I spoke to had no idea why it was still not listed on the site as a themed room, only that the owners like it for some reason, and they didn't want to get rid of it. He said he thinks that the owners like the quirkiness of it. So with the near unanimous cheering on by anonymous Reddit users, I decided to book the room. I booked it for that Friday and posted an edit to the post with a screenshot of my confirmation. This was happening. A few days went by, and I was eagerly awaiting my stay at the Hotel Zaza in the infamous room 322. I just couldn't wait to see this room for myself. The day arrived, and I made a quick new Reddit post in the Unresolved Mysteries subreddit where people could follow live updates of my stay there. I got off work, I went home, I showered, I walked my dog, I packed my toothbrush, got something to eat, and then I drove down to Houston's Museum District, where the Hotel Zaza is located. I arrived at Hotel Zaza at about 8:45 p.m. on Friday. There wasn't any parking and I had to valet my vehicle up the front. A few people who had been following my post who are also from Houston said they were pretty interested in meeting up at the bar downstairs. We had all decided to meet around 8:30, so I was already late, but I couldn't wait to see the room, so I rushed upstairs to see it.
Okay, we've got the hotel staff room. Okay, here it is. 322. 322. Alright. Well, there's that one. Wow. Really is just a concrete floor here. I'm like already creeped out a little bit. Woo. Okay. It smells like concrete in here too. Let me find some lights. Put this down. Okay, so here's some lights. There's the skull. Which is weird because when I talked to somebody over the phone, it sounded like they had taken the skull out. There's the mirror. This is a really small room. Cannot find a whole lot of lights around here. There's just not a whole lot of lights in general. These are really the only lights in here. So we've got this fake prison jumpsuit, I guess. Property of Zaza. That's kind of new, I guess. So this is the room that the owner stays in. This room has kind of his personal taste, so this painting's still here. Yep. This is a weird cabinet. Wow, this is new. I haven't seen this one in any of the photos. You got a photo, video, or sorry, you got a photo of a guy in what looks like an electric chair. Well, the bathroom is certainly not prison style. Very interesting. Bed looks comfy. Anyway, I'll post some more stuff here in a little bit. I'm gonna go meet some people down at the bar and see who all's here.
Long story short, none of the people who said they wanted to meet actually showed up, so I hung out at the bar for a few hours and chatted with a few people and made my way back up to the room. Now that I'd toured the room, it was time to actually investigate. And one of the things that I want to do is show you guys the mirror here. I know that's been the subject of a lot of people's questions and things like that. So there's a couple of tests that you can do. One of them is the fingernail test. So here's the fingernail test here. My finger is right up against the glass. And anyway, you can see my finger right there. There's a gap between the reflective surface and my fingernail. So although this isn't definitive, the glass test, the fingernail test, basically says that if your fingernail is right up against the reflective surface, if there isn't like a glass barrier, then it's for sure a two-way mirror. That doesn't definitively say that it's a two-way mirror, because you can still obviously put like a glass barrier right there, but this at least eliminates a little bit of it right there. Another thing you can do too is you can knock on the glass and see if there's like a hollow sound or if there's like a dull thud. So let's go ahead and do that right now here. So it sounds pretty thuddy to me, if that's a word. There's nothing that's telling me that there's anything behind this mirror at all. Now, another test that there is that you can do is you can shine a light right on the mirror and see if you find anything behind it. Now, it's hard to do with this, but with my phone in my hand. But what I will say is I did shine a light directly against the mirror earlier on, and I did not see anything behind it. It literally just stopped right at the mirror. I don't think there's anything behind this mirror. This is definitely not a two-way mirror. I would bet my life on it. One of the things that somebody in the comments asked was for me to check the ceiling to see if there's any like sky hooks or anything like that, and there's nothing up there. There's just nothing up there. This is just a really tiny room, and there's nothing going on in here. I can tell you that for sure. I mean, I can't tell you with certainty that there isn't like bugs or some kind of covert camera or something like that in here, but I'm not seeing anything that is going to lead me to believe that there's anything going on in this room that's nefarious or anything like that. There's nothing going on in this room that's in any way nefarious or weird beyond the decor. It's just a hotel room. That's literally all it is. Albeit it is a very small hotel room. Literally, you can see everything in the room right here. It is a really small room. And especially that skull painting right there. A lot of people are saying online that there's some sort of connection to Skull and Crossbones, the Skull and Crossbones Society, which is a society that evidently a lot of prominent politicians are a member of. If it is connected to the Skull and Bones Society, I don't know what that connection could be, because literally the only connection that people have really made to the Skull and Bones Society is that there is a skull and that the room number is 322. And 322, I haven't researched it at all, but evidently the number 322 has some sort of connection to the Skull and Bones Society. But really, there's nothing in here. Like, there's no sort of like Indiana Jones secret chamber that, at least that I've found anyway. But what somebody at, I think it was the front desk, maybe it was the bartender, I don't know. Somebody was telling me that when they were renovating this hotel, because it used to be called the Hotel Warwick. It was opened in 1926, I want to say. Anyway, the Hotel Warwick, it had a lot more rooms, 300 plus. And they cut that number down to 150-ish, probably a little bit more than that. This is just based on research that I did earlier. Anyway, when they were renovating this hotel and turning it into Hotel Zaza, the Hotel Zaza they needed to optimize the space that they had here in the hotel. And what ended up happening is we ended up with a few rooms that are quite a bit smaller than others. One of them specifically room 322, which I'm staying in right now. And so it's literally just a tiny room with some paintings, some kind of weird decor, the exposed brick. Evidently, I don't know for sure, I can't confirm this or not, but from what I understand, this is the only room in the hotel that has exposed brick. But I mean, that alone it's just whatever. And then the chains right here, you can see there's a chain chaining the bed to the wall. I think that's really more just to fit the jailhouse theme. Part of me was kind of hoping something was up around here, but no, there's nothing crazy going on here. I'm gonna sleep like a baby. I don't feel threatened at all. I don't feel like anything crazy is going on in here. I don't feel like anything is gonna happen. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for sticking around with me on this adventure, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Alright, so I'm checking out now. I want to just bring up one last kind of interesting thing here. So, I will say I really don't think that that is a two-way mirror. I've done a bunch of tests on it. It's not a two-way mirror. I really don't think so. But let's take a walk out here into the hallway. So we've established the mirror is on that side of the room there. And what do we have next door? Hotel staff. So I didn't think this would be open. That door is padlocked right there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. You can't get into this door without getting rid of the padlock. So, if there was a two-way mirror, it's possible that that little possible room there, or closet, would be a way for you to get behind that mirror. Very interesting. I had been really ready to put this whole thing to bed. But what on earth is behind that door? Although I really don't believe that the mirror is a two-way mirror, I gotta ask, what if it used to be? What if, after the original post in 2013, the cover on the room was blown and they sealed up the wall? That door looks like it leads to directly behind where the mirror is. And even if I got a picture of whatever the room is hiding behind that door, I don't know if I could be satisfied until I could analyze exactly where the studs are in the wall to see if there used to be some kind of window or other kind of structure like that. My whole purpose in this little adventure was to debunk this mystery once and for all, and for some of you it probably is. But I can't help but wonder what's behind that door. I did hear back from an employee at Zaza who had been following my post, who said it's nothing more than electrical panels behind there. But I also heard from another user saying that he'd worked in hotels for over a decade, and unless there's something like dangerous chemicals or live wires, there wouldn't be a lock on it for even just the employees. I don't know. We may never know for sure. Either way, thank you for watching.